What's going on? It's Thursday, so therefore, it's legendary insight time. I think I just invited Nick. I hope he's about to get on. I hope he can get on. Last time, it's always a little funny when we do this stuff. Who knows? Says Nick is watching. Is he about to take the bait? Nick, I sent you an invite. If it doesn't work, man, just try to add yourself, and I'll accept. You know how it says, like, in the corner or something, it'll say something about, like, add yourself to the deal. What's going on, Cameo? What's going on, Derek? Derek, was that you, man? Better been you, man. Derek, you need to get back in the game. Hey, guy, hey. What is going on? Eric, what's going on? I'm waiting for Nick, y'all. I'm sorry. So if y'all wonder why I'm paused here, I'm waiting for Nick. It's Thursday. Every Thursday we do what we call a legendary insight. Jose Lopez, what's up, man? Nick says, hold on. He's struggling right now. So, guys, I'm sorry if y'all wondering why I'm just sitting here. I'm just waiting for Nick to get on. Then we're about to kill it. About to kill it. Oh, Cameo already sharing the video. I appreciate it. Derek, I hope you're still there, man. I hope you're still there. Haven't talked to you in a while, man. It's like I should be awake by now, but I'm still trying to wake up. It's crazy, man. My mornings are weird. Made me 300 last night in my business. Your talks are really helping even with my stuff. Well, thank you. It's not letting you on. Try. You can't. Says it's trying to add you. Says adding. I don't know. Says add my viewers. Just add Nick. 24 responses to the program since last night. Sarge, I love it, man. I love it. All right, Nick, what's going on, man? Nicholas will be able to see this video too. Let's go. Is it doing it again? Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties when you're messing with Facebook. There we go. Now we got them.
All right.
Before we start, really quick, so Cameo, that's awesome. I'm so happy that you're taking advice from me and killing it with your business. That's the whole idea. I wanted to reach out to you. And Sarge, congratulations on your success too, man. I mean, I really, really, really like it. Like to hear that stuff. Like to hear that stuff. Nick, you situated over there for a minute there. You were sideways, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my screen here. I'm doing it on my phone, but I'm looking at the comments on my laptop. It's kind of weird.
Oh.
So yeah, it's a little new. So I don't know why it said to kind of tilt sideways, but it kind of did. So I'm trying to set it up here so I can kind of set it down if I can. Sorry, guys. Always something new happening.
Yeah, you never fully set.
Right. Yeah. I don't know why it's, acting like it is. But good Thursday afternoon, guys. Thank you so much for being patient with us. We always try to do this every Thursday. It's going to be a little interesting because, I'm kind of, if you see what I'm looking at here, I'm looking at my phone screen and looking at my laptop screen. So I don't know if that's the best idea, but it is what it is. But so what's going on with you, Justin? What's going on, man?
Nothing much. So it's I'll go ahead and put it out there. Nick probably doesn't want me to put this out there, but I'll put it out there. So it's so funny because we wanted to bring this show. We wanted to bring these topics, to everybody and kind of just put out our opinions and BS a little bit. That's kind of what we do. We sit back, we BS a little bit. But anyways, Nick has this thing about just being organized, and I am so unorganized, right? So, you might look at my website and be like, oh, it looks all nice and clean, but Justin is so unorganized. So, and that's my organization process. So he was like, hey, let's pick a topic today. So we were like, he was like, I was like, let's just wing it. But anyway, so but what we did want to come up with was a topic that I like what he said. He said, you know, you've been talking about this, I've been talking about this, Justin. So might as well just go ahead and elaborate a little bit more. And I think we've been making some comments roughly here. Sorry, guys, my dog. The comments here lately about what's up, Letitia? About, you know what I mean, like when you see these motivational posts, or you see these people getting books, or you see these people maybe asking for information in your business, or technically our business. You see, yeah, I mean, there's so many examples. And somebody just, once they ask for all this stuff, or they get all this stuff, or they post all this stuff, after that, their action just falls to the wayside. Like it just dies. Like you don't know what happened to them. You don't know what's going on. You don't know, you know, why are they following what they're preaching, which, yeah, I think everybody kind of struggles with that to some degree. I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, you know what I mean? But I think everybody to some degree is a little hypocritical, you know what I mean? Let's just face it.
Yeah.
And I only think that because, I mean, like Tupac was a huge, I love Tupac, but he was a huge hypocrite, right? You know, he would make a song, about treating women right, and then he would turn around and talk about, you know, a different way of looking at women.
Wrong.
but what made Tupac so good, and this is where I'm rolling with this right now, is that basically he was real. And I think we're all hypocritical to a degree because we're learning. We're human. You know what I mean? We admit, sometimes we post and we do things out of emotion. And then it's like when we give ourselves a time to actually really look at that, at what we did, what we posted, we start making different decisions. So, Nick, I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, totally, because, you know, first of all, you know, it's something that happens naturally with our own mindset, our own subconscious, where, you know, your subconscious will always tell you whether, you know what I'm saying, you are being truthful to yourself or not. Like we always say, you know, you have to be true to what you say, to what you do, and not what you say, because a lot of times, you know, even your own self, you know whether you're about to do something, or you're about to make a decision or not, to move on something. And a lot of times, you know, you find yourself walking a line where you're this way one minute, you're another way the next, because you're not even sure what it is you really, really want to do. But I tend to think that people know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly where they want to go. It's just that they don't have the courage to do so. They don't have the courage to step out there and say, this is the decision I'm going to make. This is the decision I'm going to stand by. And this is what I'm going to go with. So because of like peer pressure and just, you know, people in our lives, whether it be in our lives or whether it be just around us, because all of us, you know, as much as we would like to think that we don't care about what other people say and what other people think, you know, we do things, and as a society, we do things based on other people. And if it's cool to do, we'll jump on it. But if it's not so cool to do, we will sit there and we'll think about it. We'll dwell on it a little bit more. And if you get some negative responses from thinking about it, then you'll take even more time and be in decision, because other people don't necessarily like what you're thinking about doing or where you're thinking about going. So, I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'm sure you feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? You've been there before, as I have. We all have. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely guilty of that. But and you're right. I mean, I think people let other people make choices for them all the damn time. I'm definitely guilty of that. But the funny thing is about it. It kind of starts before that, though, right? It's almost like people post stuff, make a decision, or ask for information, or whatever the case may be, because they do want some type of change. But I personally think it's instilled within inside of them to rest on old habits, right? It's like something that triggers that say, nah, I don't want to mess up my routine, so to speak, right? It's
You got a
almost
good
like,
thing going.
Right. It's almost like the girl that stays with the guy that's constantly cheating on her, and she knows it, but it's like she can't
Yeah.
escape from the norm, or he plays the party on her, and she goes back to it saying, "Oh, I need to help him. He's sick." You know what I mean? And it could be the guy too that just keeps running back to maybe the woman that's not good for him, because we're afraid to break the norm. So we want change. We do want it. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, because it's
Hmm.
like you. Once we make those extra steps, okay, then other people control what we want to do. But before that, for some odd reason, it's like we'll take this action, and then it's like we second guess ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And,
Exactly.
and it's got to be because of something due to habits. It's got to be because I don't. There's really no other explanation for it, because it's almost like you make a move, you haven't given yourself time to even really think about it, but before you even follow through with it, you're like, nah, that's out of my old habit, that's out of my routine, that's out of my comfort zone, that's out of my norm. Never mind, I'm gonna rethink all this. You know what I mean? And then we back out.
And and see that speaks to something even more fundamental because as humans we're predisposed to comfort. We seek out comfort. We seek out things that would make our lives as easy as possible. So, but the messed up thing about that is to to do something great, to do something outside of the norm that actually makes an impact is even success. It lives so far outside of your comfort zone that people don't even want to take the risk because they are so ingrained into doing things a certain way, a certain time, and if it strays too much outside of it, it's like, no, nah, I don't know if I want to go that far. I don't know if I can give that much energy. And when you really take a look at it, it's really not that much energy. It's really not that big of a stretch. But because it's outside of your comfort zone, however far, we really don't want to take that leap because it'll mess up a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I remember, and I think everybody does, man. Because it's been floating around Facebook now, and it's such a good video, and it's powerful in that. But where Will Smith was talking about skydiving with his son, right? And he just said how as soon as his friends brought it up, they were like, sure, you're playing, right? And then they're like, no, meet tomorrow. And then the whole night he couldn't even sleep, and because he was freaking out, and
I saw that.
yeah, and it's true. And he said then he was so scared, and then even when he got up to the plane, and then when he got up in the sky, he was still scared, and then right when he let go, it was the most peaceful thing in the world, right? And so it's one of those things that something holds us back, and we make it worse in our head than what it's really going to be. I mean, the crazy thing is you know what I try to tell myself a lot. All right, so I'm 35 years old. I'm like, hey, I've lived 35 years. God hasn't let me down yet. So how bad
Exactly.
can these
I
decisions
know.
really be? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like I'm acting, jumping in front of a car or something. Of course, I'm not testing God. I'm just saying, like, but if He's carried me through this amount of space, or this amount of time, how bad is it going to be? How many times did I make mistakes? But guess what? I'm still here. Lights still got paid. You know what I mean? Relationships still keep on coming, whatever the case may be. You've already fought through some of your worst days, but yet you're still scared to make a decision. Oh, and that's another
Exactly.
thing. That's another thing. When we were sitting here talking about all this stuff, it's the lack of decision, right? Actually, and I told y'all last night in the deal, I've actually been kind of going backwards into that Think and Grow Rich book, only because, knowing all the stuff that I know now, I think sometimes when pieces of information are presented to people, sometimes we feel like we're ready, but we're not quite ready. But it's always kind of funny to rehash some of that and go back through some of that stuff with your new outlook. So I've been going back to Think and Grow Rich, and it says one of the
Yeah.
biggest reasons for failure, you know what I mean, is lack of decision making.
Exactly.
Almost one of the number one
It's
reasons.
it's one of the things, and I talked about this in a live a couple of weeks ago. At the end of your life, when you really think about your whole life and everything that you've done, everywhere that you've been, and things like that, you're not gonna really be too caught up and too bogged down by the failures that you've had, the losses that you took, the times you didn't hit the mark. What's gonna kill you the most inside is the opportunities you never took, the times you never tried, the times you never gave it everything you got. You know, those are the things that will haunt you in those last days where you are about to leave this earth and you are about to, call it, it's the end of your life, and you're going to think about those moments where you didn't go all out, where you didn't live that opportunity to the fullest. And it's just a fact of life. I forgot who it was. I think it's either Napoleon Hill or Les Brown. Either one is one. That's two of my favorites. They talk about the richest place is not in an oil field somewhere in the desert. It's not somewhere
Les Brown, baby.
where it's like yeah, exactly. It's less so. It's in a graveyard because there lies all the undone things, every good invention, every great book, everything of.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know what happened to Nick. he was just getting into something, and then there he went. So that was real weird. All right. I don't know if that was me or that was just Nick. It had to be Nick because he's just gone. So sorry, guys. Well, let me go ahead and say hi to everybody, I guess. Hopefully, I'll give some time to get Nick back. Tisha says, be a trendsetter, not trendy. I like that. L'Oreal says, so true. Sam says, hey. Janie says, hey. Tony, he made it on here. Keely made it on here. Drake made it on here. Courtney made it on here. So anyways, guys, I'm sorry. Well, I guess I'll just wait for Nick to see if maybe he can get back on here really quick. If not, what we try to do is every Thursday we just try to come together to kind of touch on a topic or something, especially like the topic of maybe the week that we've been both. He'll do live videos, I'll do live videos and things like that. And I think really ultimately what we're trying to boil down with all this is just the fact that the lack of action that some people take, you know what I mean? And we don't exactly know as to why that is. Now, I know we can easily write it off. I don't know, Letitia. I don't know what happened. Nick just disappeared on me. But we can easily, quitting is not an option, right? He says send the invite again. So hold on, Nick is coming back. Let me try to get him. But anyways, I mean, ultimately, like, and Courtney, I like what you said, but sometimes it's not even like it's not even about quitting, right? You're right. That is a whole nother topic within itself, is quitting, right? But some people won't even just start. And I think that's what we're really trying to touch on right now, is the fact that, yeah, the quitting part is a whole nother ballgame. I love what E.T. always says, Eric Thomas, where he's like, hey, what's the point in quitting? You're already in pain. Don't quit now. But I think what me and Nick were really trying to touch on, Nick, you back? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey,
Good. I hope. I don't know what happened. I just blipped out in the middle of
I
my
know.
thought.
Hey, talk about improv, man. You just left me hanging, dog. I was like, I felt like I
You
was in the
know,
middle of the play, and then Nick just left, and I'm like,
yeah.
damn, okay.
It's like, what happened? What
I'm like, it
happened?
was his
No,
line.
but I don't know.
No, but
I really. Yeah, go
well, I
ahead.
mean, while you were gone, I was just trying to rehash to everybody what we're really talking about, and so, like, and Courtney brought up a while ago, she was saying, hey, don't ever quit, never give up. And I said, yeah, quitting is awesome, but it's a whole nother topic. We're talking about, the fact that some people just won't even get started. So Courtney is exactly right. But then
Hmm.
there's this other part that just dangles, like, why people just won't even take the time to at least get started. Like, I can
Take that
understand,
first step.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand what Courtney's trying to say when it comes to the quitting thing. You know what I mean? But even those people, I would give them a lot of, I'd give them a pat on the back because they at least
Leeway.
tried.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
keeping people
Exactly.
from even just starting?
I developed the term, well, not developed because I can't take full credit for that, but I call it the witness protection program, where you just you get people in front of whatever it is, and then they seem interested, they seem gung ho, and then blip, they just fall off the face of the earth, and then that's what, and I agree with you because I think even worse than quitting after you've been going through something, even worse than that is not even starting, not even taking that first step, because there's so much anxiety that comes with starting something new. There's so much anxiety. Can I really do this? Does it really even gonna make sense? Is it gonna make sense? Will it work? And more importantly, will it work for me? But what people don't understand is that even while you're thinking about those things, even while you have those questions, you gotta get started. Because if you never get started, you'll never find out. And it's one of the things that is reminded me of is the infamous Steve Harvey video that talks about you gotta jump. And there's two things that guarantee if you don't jump. If you don't jump, you'll never know what's going to happen. And two, you'll never know if you'll be successful. If you don't jump, you'll never know if you can soar. Yes, you run the risk of getting banged up and getting hurt, going through some stuff you don't really want to go through that's going to hurt, that's going to suck. But, if you let that imprison you, when they talk about fear imprisoning you, if you let that imprison you, you will never get anywhere worth talking about. The next 5 years of your life will be just the same as the last 5 years of your life if you don't do anything. Even Einstein says doing the same thing and expecting different results is insanity, because there's just no way that's gonna work. So I think a lot of times it's just simply the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unknown that keeps people in bondage. And and I will definitely jump into faith and things like that, because I really want you to chime in on this part of it. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about faith in a little bit and break that down. But really, I think it's just the fear of that first step. And you said something so awesome last night in the training about that first step, and just not seeing it. Something you said about Martin Luther King. Can you share with them what you shared with us?
Well, yeah. Well, my biggest factor was a plan. Okay, so you listen to these gurus, and they talk about writing down your goals, they talk about writing down your plan, they talk about all that stuff. Okay, and so what I wanted to get across to people was, don't take that literally. Okay, because the only plan that really exists is if you're about to uh come in and if you've already done something before. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's the only plans that really exist. So if you built a house and you're an architect, you can write another plan to go build another house, because now you know what it takes. But if you're doing something different in a sense, right? Maybe dating someone different, joining a different business, or whatever, moving to another state, whatever the case may be. There is no such thing as a plan. Okay, and so that's what I'm trying to get at. And I think some people, they rely on, well, I got to make this plan before I can make my move. And it's like no, like what it does is, if you feed your subconscious enough, you align enough, more will be revealed to you, and then your plan will start to unfold. And that's when I said, at that time, and I don't know for sure. Obviously, I don't know Martin Luther King personally. I wish I would have met the man, but didn't never get a chance to. But he came up with a beautiful quote that said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just got to take the first step, right? And and I want you to just put yourself in that position at that time, right? You have maybe, like, what, half of the United States against you, against you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you just had this dream in your mind, and everybody in the world, talk about a few haters on Facebook. you have half of the damn nation against you saying stop what you're
More than
doing,
half, actually.
right? So
More than half,
right,
actually.
more than that. So what I'm getting at is that he didn't have a plan. He just knew that, okay, I have to take this step. You know what I mean? And it went from one speech to another speech to this rally to that rally to this protest to that protest, and then more and more started building on, and then more people started following. And that's the thing. So we let these plans, so called, that gurus talk. I mean, like I hate to point these gurus out, but I'm saying, like, have you ever heard from a millionaire that, oh, you know what I mean? You just write your goal and then you write your plan on how to make that goal happen. How many of y'all know how to make $1 million right now?
Because if you did, you would go out there and do it.
That's what I'm saying. So like, and that's why I say it's so false, and I don't like that. Okay, so like, I know that anybody watching this video right now, if I asked them, would you like to make $1 million? Would that be your goal? They would say yes. I know, I know, 100%. You don't even have to lie. You don't have to tell me something different. But here's the thing: ask them how to go get that $1 million, and they have no idea. Now they might know something. Well, that means I got to make about $100,000 a month. Okay, you're somewhat there, right? You know what I mean?
Half right.
What?
Now you're half right.
Yeah. I was like,
You're
okay,
half
yeah,
right.
like, okay, you're somewhat there. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting at is that, though, like, the plan will come, and and Nick, I'm gonna hand it back over to you so I don't just overtake it. But the last other example that I said was Jack Canfield, right? Which I really loved him. He's the guy that did Chicken Soup for the Soul. Everybody and their mama reads those books, but that was his whole thing. He just kept knowing that it was just like Martin Luther King, right? He had a plan to make $100,000 a year. Had no idea how he was going to do that. Bob Proctor used to say the same thing. Had no idea how he did. Everybody knows Bob Proctor for what he does now, but his story, nobody ever listens to the stories, man. Bob Proctor said that he used to make what it was, a janitorial service, and that's how he made his first amount of money. But everybody thinks it's because of all his teachings and his books now. No, it was his janitorial service, and he even said, don't know how I did it. But Jack Canfield was going along, and little pieces started revealing themselves. And then a thought came in where he said, well, maybe I've been writing these little, notes. I've been writing these little booklets. Maybe if I can put it in a book form, and I can put it on, I think it was the National Enquirer, or whatever he said, and I can sell it for a certain price, that should be able to make me the $100,000 that I'm talking about. But that thought came later. That was the plan that, came later. And so what I'm saying is, if you're thinking about making a decision, but you're looking for that ultimate plan, stop. You know what I mean? Have that end goal in mind. Maybe have some action steps that you can take, but then just go take the action. More of your plan will be revealed, and that's when the plan unfolds. You know what I mean?
And I think, and you touched on something very fundamental, because and even I'm guilty of this, because it's funny that any kind of intelligence tells you that you have to find a way to do something. You have to figure out how. And especially if you're a little bit of a perfectionist like me, if you're a little bit of an overachiever like me, you gotta find exactly how you do it. You want to, okay, take for instance today. We just talked about that in the beginning of the live. Like, I had to at least, just for it to make sense in my head, just to kind of plot out a course of what we're gonna do today. And in life, it's just like that, where a lot of us, before we even take the first step, we have to know every single detail. We have to know exactly every turn. And it's just the way some of us are, that we have to have all that information before we even move, because it.
Nick can't stay here. So, this is twice today. Wow. So I feel like I'm back on. I swear, I feel like I'm on stage, and then, you know what I mean? And it's somebody else's line, and then you're waiting and waiting. Like, you're going to say it, and this is your line. Anyways, well, I'll go ahead and say something, though. Like, here's my main thing, though. we're sitting here and we're talking about how everybody has to have a plan, right? They got to have this plan before they make a move, right? And Nick just came back. Send it again. All right. I can't. Why can't I do that? Nick, if you're watching, it's not allowing me, man. I can add almost everybody but you and Letitia for some odd reason. Facebook is acting funny. Can you invite yourself into my own live? Yeah, because it's not letting me do it, man. Really quick, while everybody's still here and we're trying to get this figured out, Nick, I'll keep trying to play with it. But, okay, we were talking about having a plan and everything, right? But sometimes I want to ask you this. And this is going to be hard for you guys, okay? Because you feel like you got to have a plan before you can make a move, before you can go anywhere. But what's the fun in that? Yeah, it's not giving me the option either, man. I don't know why. Like, it's allowing me to add everybody but you and Letitia for some reason. I don't know why that is. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Hey, maybe get off and then come back on, Nick. But anyways, what's the fun in having the full plan? And what I mean by that is this, right? Let's say you're going on a trip, right? And you know that the final destination is coming back to your house. That's the final destination, right? We are so caught up with the final destination and just trying to make our plan there. And you could easily do that, right? If you were to plan a vacation right now, you could easily say, let's say, like for me, I'm going to Florida in July, right, to see my brother, right? I could easily plan that out, right? I could say I'm going to Florida, okay? I'm going to take this flight. I'm going to hang out with my brother, and then I'm going to come back, and I'll be back on this date. We can all plan that out, right? But in a sense, what I'm saying is, like, what's the fun in just planning out every single thing while I'm in Florida? Wouldn't you want to maybe plan a couple things? Like Nate, my brother would probably be like, hey, I want to take you here and here, right? Because while you're in town, I want to show you this. I want to take you to the beach. I want to take you here, right? But everything else, do I really need to know? Why don't I just why don't I just savor it? Why don't I just have some fun? You know, for instance, a roller coaster, right? How many of y'all, maybe when you were a kid, you took that roller coaster, you did all that, you were probably scared maybe, you did all the spins and the twists and the curves and the speed, and then you came back, or you snapped your picture at the very end, right, and then it stops, and then you looked up and you're like, damn, there's a long-ass line again, right, to get back on, but in your mind, you just wanted to get back on. See, sometimes we worry about this plan so much that we don't even get to enjoy just letting it unravel, right? And, I mean, you know, and so with that kind of concept, think about this. What if it was your birthday and I said, hey, I would like to come over your house and give you a gift, right? And give you a gift. Now, that would kind of excite you. Number one, I surprised you and I said I'm going to bring you a gift, even though you kind of guessed it because it's your birthday, but it still shocked you that somebody was nice enough to say, hey, it's your birthday, I want to give you a gift, right? And then number two, especially like, let's say it's me, y'all barely know me, right? So then other things start going in your mind. What is Justin going to give me? It could be anything, right? That's the whole, the fun in it, right? You have no idea what I'm going to bring you. But if I said, hey, I got 2 tickets to this really quick, I'm going to come over and drop them off to you for your birthday. Yeah, you might be excited. Oh, well, that was nice of him to go and get me tickets, but there wasn't too much like fun in that, right? The fun, it's my son's birthday. His name is Justin. That's crazy that happened. But it's kind of like, but where's the fun in knowing it all? That's all I'm trying to say is where's the fun in knowing it all? We feel like we got to have everything figured out, and sometimes you don't. The fun is just enjoying it and letting it unravel. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I were to give Santa Claus, right, a list of the things I liked, and then he wrapped all the gifts up, right? We're just playing around here and hypothetically, right? But he wrapped all the gifts up. I would have more fun tearing them open, wondering what I got. Did he get anything on my list? You know what I mean? Did he get me something different? Is there something big? Is there something small? What is the deal? You know what I mean? There is the fun in that. But knowing everything on my list and then just seeing it under the tree, that's cool because you got everything you want, but where was all the fun in that? You see what I'm saying? I wonder if Nick can get back on yet. Nope. Well, guys, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't want to take too much of this without Nick because this was like kind of our show and now it just became Justin's show, and I didn't want it like that at all. I don't know what happened with Nick. Now I can't even invite anybody. So, all right. But anyways, nothing ever this is planned. I just go. If I do a plan, it doesn't work out, I get disappointed. Now that's the other part of it all, right? Some people have a plan and it doesn't go accordingly, and then they let it overtake them. You know what I mean? And I think it's because me personally, rereading Think and Grow Rich, that explained a plan more to me than what some millionaire talks about having a plan. Because me personally, I don't personally feel like that millionaire had an exact plan. And when we hear plan, we might think we have to be so detailed, where that millionaire probably said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this product, I'm going to do it like this, I'm going to hit this bonus, yada, 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 I'm going to make $1 million. And that's about as far as they went, but they didn't have all the little in-betweens. Sometimes when we think of a plan, we got to have all the little in-betweens, and you don't. And I'm reading the book again last night, right, Think and Grow Rich, and the whole idea was, it said, I am awaiting of a plan. Now, what he was getting at was that the more that you can drill that in to your self-conscious, right? I'm sorry, not self-conscious. They're subconscious. There we go. I'm sorry. The more you can get that plan to your subconscious, guess what? Your plan will start to unravel. You know what I mean? And then that's where a lot of other people talk about the law of attraction. The more that you can put it out there, all of a sudden thoughts and things start happening to make that plan or to make that plan come forward, right? I talked about it last night. You know, if you look at any, religion out there, spiritual leader or anything, they talk about aligning yourself first and then using inspired thought to go. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's so important to do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if we rest on our own laurels, right, we F everything. I'm trying not to cuss for Nick, but we F everything up, right? We do, right? So, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like we get mad, we start making decisions, they don't go anywhere, right? Or we say, okay, no, we force things thinking that it's inspired thought, and it's not. It's just us trying to force something. It's like almost like trying to put, something in a hole that we know doesn't fit, but we're just so mad that we want to drill it in, right? And so, you know what I mean? And so when we rest on our own laurels, we end up messing that thing up, and then it goes back to what Letitia said. Then our plan doesn't unravel, then we get upset. Where if we could just kind of go with the flow and let inspired thought take us there and let go one step, then it starts to unravel and it's going crazy. It's not even allowing me to anyone. Yeah. Nick, I'm sorry, man. I don't know why. It's not even letting me add you on. Facebook probably said, hey, we tried twice with him and it's not working. Totally appreciate the passion that you all provide. I appreciate that too, Robert. So anyways, guys, but like I said, I was just trying to give some Nick some time. I don't want to take up the whole show because it's really our thing, and we're just having technical difficulties today. But hopefully, guys, all I'm trying to get at, I'll finish it with this. Hopefully, Nick is okay with that. But all it is this, guys. There's a time where you need to decide if you need to start something. I mean, if you want to get into our business, which you can either get with Nick, or you can get with me. Does not matter. We're really cool and laid back, and we can help you with our business. But even if it's not about business, even if you have just something that you've been thinking about doing, guys, stop letting time go by. Okay? You see, you buy all the books, you listen to all the motivational videos. You know what I mean? You make all the motivational posts, right? You watch all the successful people. But what now? Gary Vaynerchuk asked that question. Like, somebody tagged me in that video because they know I love that guy. But he said the answer to almost everything now is what now? It's like, it's like my dad left me. What now? I'm broke. Okay, what now? You know what I mean? What now? Like, because you can only move forward, right? You talk to a whole bunch of other people, you can't go backwards, right? And you heard that little meme, or I don't even want to call it a meme. It's like that little saying about, if you're in a car, the rear view mirror is this small and the windshield is this big because, you want to focus more on moving forward than back because you cannot go back. You can't go back, right? So what I'm getting at is move forward. Just what now? Move forward. And understand this. You're not going to have a definite decision. A definite plan. You're not. You're not. I don't care what any guru tells you, okay? Now, if you want to put your goal and a few action steps that you can take to go towards that goal, that's your plan. But everything else, the in-between stuff, it's not up to you to figure out. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Like I said, you're on a vacation. You know where your final destination's going to take you, right? Okay? But in the meantime, just enjoy it. Just enjoy for whatever it is, either the learning phase, the growing phase, the fun phase that you didn't even expect. You know what I mean? That you know what I mean? Like, how many people you hear all the time say, well, I had a goal for this, and oh my God, it gave me even more than that. What the more in that equation could be more of their money that they, instead of what they actually put down, but it could just be everything else besides the money. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't know that they were going to have the thrills and the laughter and the excitement and all the other things, all the other feelings that they weren't even expecting. They were expecting to have all that when they hit that goal. They weren't expecting to hear everything that they possibly did on their way to the goal. So that's what I'm saying. Don't worry about a plan. Just start taking action. Just make that first step. Go have a little fun. Quit posting the same, oh, Nick, I'm trying my best not to cuss here, but I see it all the time. You're buying the books, you're posting the stuff, but you're not doing anything. And and you know what? Sometimes I'll put it back on me. I got to be like that too. My team last night, they called me out and they said, Justin, there's some things that are holding you back too. And they were exactly right. And because of me being who I am, I took that and I ran with that and I agreed with them, because I do think sometimes I hold myself back. So you are human, and I do agree with that. But now make a move, because now the only other question that you can ask is, what now? Make your move. Please share this live with at least 2 people right now if you got value from our show. That's what Nick is saying. We will definitely have the kinks with Facebook worked out for next week's show, guys. Yeah, I'm very sorry. I still can't add Nick, so I don't know. I guess Facebook is just like, hey, you've tried way too many times. So anyways, guys, no matter what, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like Nick said, if you got any value from it, please go ahead and share it. We will be back next Thursday with Legendary Insight, depending on what it is. Guys, just go ahead, make your moves. Don't worry about your foolproof plan. Just go have at it and enjoy it, man. Just enjoy whatever that decision is, man. But no matter what, just make the move. All right, guys, y'all take care.